Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Drips News Eurosports. I'm John, and today we'll be diving into all the latest action from European football. We've got a packed show today, with highlights from several thrilling matches and a look at the current league standings. Stay tuned, you won't want to miss any of it.
Let's kick things off with a high-scoring affair at the London Stadium, where Liverpool dominated West Ham in a 5-0 victory. The first half saw Liverpool storm ahead, with Luis Diaz opening the scoring at the 30-minute mark, followed by Cody Gakpo and Mohamed Salah, who made it 3-0 before halftime. The second half continued, with Trent Alexander-Arnold adding another goal early in the second half, and Diogo Jota putting the final nail in the coffin with his goal towards the end of the match. West Ham struggled to create any meaningful chances, highlighting Liverpool's superiority on the day. The final score here was a clear 5-0 win for Liverpool. They were in complete control, boasting 54% possession to West Ham's 46% and a total of 13 shots on target, compared to West Ham's 0. This result moves Liverpool closer to the top of the league and puts them in good position to be at the top of the league. Next up, we have a thrilling draw between Aston Villa and Brighton, ending 2-2. Brighton took an early lead with Simon Adingra's goal in the 12th minute, but Aston Villa fought back with Ollie Watkins equalising via a penalty in the 36th minute. Morgan Rogers then put Aston Villa ahead right before halftime. The second half saw Brighton push for an equaliser, and Tariq Lamptey secured a point for his team with a well-taken goal in the 81st minute. Both teams created plenty of chances, with 20 total shots for Aston Villa and 13 for Brighton, but ultimately, the defenses held on with the final score tied at 2-2. Possession was in favor of Aston Villa with 60% while Brighton had 40%. This result leaves both teams in a mid-table position, still searching for consistency this season. Moving on to Old Trafford, where Newcastle secured a solid 2-0 away win against Manchester United. Newcastle started strong, with Alexander Isak scoring early in the 4th minute, and Joelinton doubling their lead in the 19th minute, both goals in the first half. Despite Manchester United's efforts, they failed to break down the Newcastle defense, with only one shot on goal throughout the whole game compared to Newcastle's 4. Manchester United were not able to overcome Newcastle's dominance, even with the slight edge in possession, holding 53% to Newcastle's 47%. Newcastle came out on top with a comfortable win at Old Trafford. Newcastle had a very dominating first-half performance, but they were able to hold on to their lead throughout the second half to claim the win. Let's turn our attention to Portman Road, where Ipswich Town surprised Chelsea with a 2-0 victory. The first half saw Liam Delap opening the scoring with a penalty in the 12th minute. Chelsea looked to have equalised, but a goal was cancelled by VAR in the 27th minute. The second half saw Ipswich extend their lead with Omari Hutchinson's goal in the 53rd minute. Chelsea struggled to find a way back into the match. Despite having much of the ball possession at 76%, Ipswich defended resiliently, capitalizing on their opportunities. The final result was a 2-0 victory for Ipswich, which will certainly be a huge morale boost for them in this campaign. In another game, Crystal Palace narrowly defeated Southampton 2-1 at Selhurst Park. T. Dibbling put Southampton ahead in the 15th minute, but Crystal Palace quickly responded, with T. Chalobah equalising in the 31st minute. Eberechi Eze then scored the winning goal for Crystal Palace early in the second half. Crystal Palace controlled the game with 10 shots on target versus Southampton's 3 and with the majority of clear chances, but Southampton put in a very good defensive effort and were able to hold on until the very end. This win lifts Crystal Palace a few spots up the table while Southampton's struggles continue. Lastly, Tottenham and Wolves played out a 2-2 draw at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Wolves scored first with Wang Hee-chan in the 7th minute. However, Tottenham quickly responded with goals from Rodrigo Bentancur in the 12th minute and Brennan Johnson in stoppage time before halftime. The second half saw Jørgen Strand Larsen score for Wolves late in the 87th minute to level the score. With both sides creating opportunities, the game had an exciting finish. Both sides ultimately had to settle for a draw. This result does not help either side much, leaving Tottenham in mid-table while Wolves stay near the relegation zone. Now let's take a look at the league standings. Liverpool currently sits at the top of the table with 45 points, having had a dominating season so far. Following them are Nottingham Forest in second place with 37 points, Arsenal in third place with 36 points, and Chelsea at fourth with 35 points. Newcastle at fifth and Manchester City at sixth complete the top six. At the bottom, we see Ipswich at 18th, Leicester at 19th, and Southampton in last place. These teams will have a huge battle ahead of them to avoid relegation. As you can see, there are many surprises this season, and it will be interesting to see how it all plays out in the second half of the season.
That concludes today's Drips News Eurosports. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next time. Don't forget to follow us online for more sports updates and highlights. Good morning, everyone. This is Drips News, and I'm John, your host for today's Eurosports review. We've got a packed show for you, bringing you all the latest scores, goals, and league standings from across Europe. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. We're kicking things off in Italy with a thrilling match between Bologna and Verona. This game ended in a 2-3 victory for Verona, but it was anything but straightforward. Bologna, sitting comfortably in 7th place, started strong with B. Dominguez scoring a beautiful goal at the 20th minute, assisted by S. Castro. However, Verona, who are trying to avoid relegation, fought back with Asar and C. Tengstedt adding goals at 38th and 45 plus 2 minute respectively to give them 1-2 lead at halftime. The second half was an action-packed affair. Bologna's Pobega received a red card just minutes after the restart at 51st minute, but despite being down to 10 men, Dominguez scored again at 58th minute, equalizing the game. However, Verona took the lead again at the 88th minute with an own goal from S. Castro, sealing a dramatic win for Verona. The match was full of drama, with several yellow cards and substitutions, showcasing the intense battle on the field. The final score was 2-3 to Verona, with an unlikely hero of the day, Dominguez, scoring twice for Bologna. Next, we head over to Como, where they faced Lecce. In a match that saw plenty of action, Como managed a 2-0 victory over Lecce. The game was scoreless at halftime, but Como, sitting in 15th place, turned up the heat in the second half. N. Paz opened the scoring at the 49th minute, assisted by P. Catrone. This was followed by a goal from Catrone himself at the 80th minute to give Como a solid 2-0 win and move them slightly away from the relegation battle, whereas Lecce remain on 17th place. The match was also marked by a number of yellow cards, with both teams committing tactical fouls as they tried to gain an advantage. Como dominated possession in the second half, using it well to secure the victory over the 17th-placed Lecce. The match ended 2-0 for Como, with P. Catrone scoring a goal and assisting another one. Moving on, we have AC Milan against AS Roma. The match finished in a 1-1 draw. AC Milan, sitting 8th in the table, started with a strong push, resulting in T. Reinders scoring a goal at the 16th minute, assisted by Y. Fofana. But Roma, currently 10th, struck back at the 23th minute with P. Dybala scoring a goal from Adov Byk. The game was evenly matched and finished 1-1 after 90 minutes. The match also saw a number of yellow cards being awarded, showing the physicality of the match. Notably, the game saw multiple substitutions, tactical changes, and a number of yellow cards. Despite both teams attempting to find a winning goal, the defenses stood firm, and the match ended in a draw. Both teams demonstrated attacking prowess, but their defensive lines prevented any further goals. In the end, neither of the teams managed to break the stalemate and had to settle for a draw. Lastly, let's look at Juventus versus Fiorentina, a match that ended in a 2-2 draw. This game was a roller coaster of emotions. Juventus started by K. Thuram scoring a goal at the 20th minute with a solid assist from M. Locatelli. Fiorentina responded at 38th minute with M. Keane scoring a goal assisted by Y. Adley. Just after the break, at the 48th minute, K. Thuram scored again, taking Juventus in the lead 2-1. However, the resilient Fiorentina leveled the game at the 87th minute with a goal from R. Sottil, assisted by M. Keane. The game also saw a number of yellow cards and substitutions, which shows the intensity of the encounter. The final score was a 2-2 draw. Thuram's 2 goals for Juventus were not enough to secure a win, while Keane contributed a goal and an assist for Fiorentina. Now, let's look at the league standings. At the top of the table, we have Atalanta and Napoli, sharing the lead with 41 points each. They are followed closely by Inter with 40 points, Lazio with 35 points, Fiorentina with 32 points, and Juventus also with 32 points securing top 6. At the bottom of the table, we have Cagliari in 18th place with 14 points, followed by Venezia in 19th place with 13 points, and Monza at the bottom of the table with just 10 points. These bottom 3 teams will need to improve in the next half of the season to avoid relegation from Serie A.
That's all we have for you today on Drips News Euro Sports Review. Please follow us online for all the latest updates. Thanks for joining us and have a great day. Good morning, sports fans. This is Drips News, and I'm John, your announcer. Today, we're diving deep into the exciting world of European football. We'll be covering the latest results and league standings, so stay with us.
Hello everyone, I'm Daniela, and let's jump straight into the Bundesliga action. First up, we had a thrilling match between VfL Wolfsburg and Borussia Dortmund. Dortmund dominated with a final score of 3-1. The first half was particularly explosive, with Dortmund netting all 3 of their goals before the break. Daniel Malin opened the scoring in the 25th minute, assisted by Rami Bensebaini. Just 3 minutes later, Maximilian Bayer found the net, thanks to a brilliant pass from Julian Brandt. Brandt then turned scorer in the 30th minute, with Bayer returning the favor by providing the assist. The second half saw Wolfsburg trying to make a comeback, with Dennis Vavros scoring in the 58th minute, assisted by Maximilian Arnold. However, their efforts were hampered by a red card shown to Pascal Gross of Dortmund for a professional foul in the 62nd minute. The match also saw a flurry of yellow cards, with both sides accumulating them. Despite being a man down for the last half hour of the game, Dortmund's defense held firm, securing an important away victory. This win solidifies their position in the top 6 as they continue their pursuit for a Champions League spot. Wolfsburg, on the other hand, is struggling to find consistency. Despite their recent positive form, they are sitting in the 11th position with a lot of work ahead of them to qualify for any European competition. Moving on to our next match, we witnessed a very competitive game where VfL Bochum hosted FC Heidenheim. Bochum secured a crucial 2-0 victory in a match filled with drama. The home side started strong, with Moritz Brashinski scoring in the 6th minute thanks to an assist from Ibrahima Sissoko. The first half continued with Bochum in control. Mattis Barrows scored in the 38th minute, assisted by Tim Orman, extending their lead to 2-0 before the break. Despite the scoreline, Heidenheim had a lot of chances in the second half, and the game was an open affair. Both teams had a series of yellow cards handed out by the referee. The second half saw a flurry of substitutions from both sides, but neither team could alter the score. Despite Bochum's win, it's a difficult position for them as they are still at the bottom of the league. They need a series of wins to climb up the table and get out of the relegation zone. Heidenheim also needs to step up their game. They are in the relegation zone and are only 2 points ahead of Bochum. Both of these teams need to secure wins if they want to have a chance to stay in Bundesliga next season. Now let's take a look at the Bundesliga standings. Bayern Munich continues their dominance at the top with 36 points, showcasing their incredible attacking prowess. Bayer Leverkusen is hot on their heels in second place with 32 points, as they are having a phenomenal season. Eintracht Frankfurt and RB Leipzig are tied at 27 points, occupying the third and fourth spots respectively, and they all seem like strong contenders for the Champions League qualification. The battle for Europa League and Conference League spots is tight, with FSV Mainz 05 and Borussia Dortmund both holding 25 points. The relegation zone sees one. FC Heidenheim in 16th place with 10 points, followed by Holstein Kiel and VfL Bochum in the last two spots with only 8 and 6 points respectively. The battle to avoid relegation is going to be tight as we get close to the end of the season. The middle of the table is very close with only few points separating the teams, so everything is still to play for.
That concludes today's Drips News Eurosport segment. Thank you for joining us. Make sure to follow us online for all the latest updates and highlights. This is John signing off.